first state champion in my school. My school had 60 years of wrestling, of just awful bad wrestling, and didn't really have any great coaches. But the one thing that separated me was just I was really committed, and so that's what I want to talk about today. But back to where I was at. I had these choices. I could have jumped into the job force. I could have worked in. I could have stayed on and coached college, and I wanted to live life with no regrets. And what that means to me, living life no regrets, is I never want to look back in the past and be like, man, I wish I could go back and change how I acted or what I did. And how many of you guys have ever had an experience like that in your life? Yeah, just about everybody, where you just really want to go back and change something. Well, that's what was my mindset at the time. I really wanted to just go back and live in a way that I would never want to go back and change anything. So after my college career, I didn't feel like I was done. My body was healthy. I still was really competitive, and I felt like I wanted to compete some more. So I got in contact with Brandon Slays, the coach of the Olympic Training Center. I talked to him. He invited me out to a camp and immediately offered me a spot on the Olympic Training Center resident team. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I took it right away, and immediately after, I placed fourth in the US Open, which I hadn't competed in freestyle wrestling a lot. I was mostly folk style, so I did pretty good. So to say, the one thing that set me apart from coming from a background where nobody really wrestled, the one thing that's really separated me from everybody else was just my level of commitment. Okay? So real quick in your tables, I want you guys to get together and really dig deep, really discuss. I want you guys to come up with a definition of commitment, and then like an example in your life or something that just pops up that really stands out to commitment. Like in the last few examples I had in the last classes were just like, every time I brought commitment, everybody would be like, Tim Tebow, commitment, you know? So, yeah, that's what they said as your peers. So real quick, 2, 3, 4 minutes, look around, discuss with your tables or 3 or 4 people around you, all right?
What's wrong?
For the Division I program in Iowa, it's not very good. And it was my junior year, and I got beat by the guy who won the tournament, and I was devastated. And I had to win my next match to become an All-American, which is what I strived for the last 3 years in college. And I was wrestling a guy who's kind of known for being kind of a dirty wrestler. And so if I win this match, I become an All-American. If I lose this match, I'm out, and I feel like my season went to waste. And before this, I did everything I could to become good at wrestling. So I had to get good grades to stay in school. I had to make sure my relationship with my girlfriend wasn't all over the place and keep my mind off wrestling. I had hobbies. I didn't want them to get in the way of wrestling or anything like that. Obviously, I was in athletics. I had a part-time job, and I had to keep all that stuff together, you know, to be committed to wrestling. And so the match came up. There's a third period, and the guy shoots in on me. I misdirect him, and his leg goes in between my head. His head goes. I'm sorry. His head. I said that backwards. His head goes in between my legs. Okay. He immediately stands up. Okay. So I'm at the Division I tournament. If I win, I become All-American. If I lose, I don't. And he's standing up, and we're in a kind of a scramble to see who's going to get the takedown. And he stands up, and he's trying to shake me off and stuff. And he starts to walk out of bounds because he can't do anything. But then he stops. And he turns around, and he goes back to the middle of the mat. And he starts to shake, and he tries to get me off. And then he jumps, and my head is kind of under his butt. And he jumps up, and he gets his feet out from under me, and he pretty much slams my head and my neck on the mat. And I got a concussion. My face splits open. I got blood in my eye. I can't see. And the ref doesn't stop the match. The ref is on the opposite side, you know, watching from the wrong angle. He doesn't stop the match. And I just hung on, you know, and finally the ref saw the blood on the mat. They stopped the match, and they wiped the blood off my face, and I collected myself, and I stayed calm. And I was just mad because this guy is just known for this, and he didn't get called it. And the one thought that was just going through my head is, I'm way too committed. I've been way too committed to lose this match. And so I just stayed calm. I went back out there. He shot in again. I cradled him, and I pinned him. And it was probably one of the most happy times of my life to celebrate becoming All-American for the first time, you know. And so what I want to tell you guys, what like the main message is for today, is just find out what you love. Okay. So what I love to do is I love to wrestle, and then become committed to it. Commit your life to what you love. And I just want to tell you, in the end, that it is totally worth it. Okay. So whether it's athletics like me, or if it's a job or academics or your goals or hobbies, just find out what you love and commit to it, and it'll be worth it. Cool. So do you guys have any questions for me or anything you guys want to talk about wrestling or anything?
Was that the worst injury?
That I've ever had? Pretty close, but I've had tons of injuries, so.
Like what?
Like shoulders. I mean, I could go on for hours. Both my shoulders, my meniscus, my MCL, my hip, my back, my neck, you know. Anything else?
So at that moment, when the guy should have got called for some kind of penalty, right?
Yeah.
And it was very close. I mean, you could have lost, right?
Yeah.
But what was it that you did that you suddenly, something changed within you? Because you can't really change something within him, right?
Yeah.
And it was about your commitment.
Yeah. It was about my commitment, exactly. And what I did was I just thought about how much I committed my life in all the different aspects that were just meant to bring everything together so I was good at wrestling. And in my head I just thought, I'm too committed to this sport to lose. So,
And that made the difference.
yeah. Yep.